Perception is the key to transformation.
Reality is both subjective and malleable. If you can dream a better world, you can make a better world.
In the material world, in the psychic world, in the spiritual world, there is nothing you can catch hold of and hang on to for safety. None.
The universe is a mass of obvious intelligence. It is the most supreme example of a wisdom beyond comprehension by man. The universe is a tremendous living organism which, in spite of anything we believe or do not believe, is always right.
Say in your mind, say to yourself, I am more than my physical body. Because I am more than physical matter, I can perceive that which is greater than the physical world.
So when maybe you or somebody else creates an AGI system and you get to ask her one question, what would that question be?
What's outside the simulation?
Do you not know all the answers to the questions about reality? Do you not claim to know the ultimate truth about life? I see death as just animation. As a part of a family that explores the consciousness. I'm the void one.
Someone out there is experimenting on the whole world as their lab. Strange things happening.
Teleportation, genetic mutation, reanimation.
Oh, what happened?
I just pissed myself. I've never seen a feature like this before. Warm your ass. Wonderful.
Open your mind, son, or someone may open it for you.
Welcome to Lighting the Void.
Broadcasting live from Daytona Beach, Florida. This is Lighting the Void, and I'm your host, Joe Rubin. We are live on Fringe.fm, KTLK Digital Broadcasting. It's Cosmic Conditions time. That means Mary Dusina is here with us tonight. The new moon is back. We get to talk about the energies of Scorpio and what's coming towards us, what we need to prepare for, and also all the signs. You know this, right? We've been doing this for a couple years now. Go check out our website, marydusina.com, MARYDUSINA, marydusina.com. Real quick, make sure you go check out the show's website, lightingthevoid.com. Grab something from the shop. Sign up to the newsletter. Sign up to the newsletter on Fringe.fm. Make donations. Support us. Help us out. And don't forget the events coming up in February the 10th through the 13th. Contact at the Cabin, the Magic Edition. I'll be presenting there with Owen Hunt and Brandon Powell. There's 15 or 16 tickets left, I think. I don't know how many. I haven't looked today. It may be less than that, but go sign up. Go to lightingthevoid.com. Go to the events. Click on it. I'll see you out there. Hope you had a happy Halloween. I haven't talked to Mary since before Halloween, and she's here with us. And if this is your first time listening to the broadcast, which I do see we have some new listeners. Look, Mary has been here on this show for a long time. She hosted a radio show back in Florida. She did a psychic call-in show. She's born on Halloween. I sifted through a lot of people when I found Mary. A lot of people. I'm not saying there's not a lot of psychics out there, but I sifted through a lot. And when the first time I talked to Mary, I just knew. I knew, like, this is the one. Like, this is the real one. And she's been changing lives ever since. She's also on Kev Baker's show on the full moon, and is growing ever since. So thanks, Mary, for coming on. It's good to have you back.
Oh, thank you, Joe. And hello, beautiful, beautiful, loyal listeners, live audience, and those of you that will get the replay on YouTube and all the various venues and formats, which you do have a lot of them. I'll say that. That's great. You've got a lot of ways that people can actually hear Spreaker and everything. I mean, it's like nice that people, they get edgy. They get impatient with me about when is the replay going to be uploaded. And I'm like, It's going to happen when it's meant to be. You just have to hang in there and trust it. So,
well, trust me, y'all. If I'm like 10 shows behind on the archive and Mary's show comes out, like, it's coming out. I promise you that.
Yeah, people start. They light it up. That's for sure. I'll give them credit where credit's due. Boy, they will. It's impressive nowadays, Joe, when people make an effort. You know, when they make an effort, because everybody can be a little ADD or caught up in, you know, the cray-cray of the world and looking for the real. And I will tell you that it's impressive to me. It's always noticed by me, the people that do reach out with that authentic, genuine thank you, the email, the visiting over at Cosmic Conditions and saying, boy, that hit home today when I'm posting different little vignettes of the celestial soup. As well as on the website that Joe mentioned to you. So, you know that Christmas song that people tend to start humming around right after Thanksgiving, or it used to be right after Thanksgiving when people would start singing, it's the most wonderful time of the year. Well, yeah, you got a good singing voice. Well, you know, I tried. But anyway, and it's the most intensified time of the year. I have 7 pages of notes where not only was I looking at the configurations like star people that speak and write and teach stars like to do. They look at the sacred geometry and the elements and the signs involved. So last month at New Moon, we talked about, much to the travail and chagrin and now confirmation, that the cardinal signs of Aries, Libra, Cancer, Capricorn would be in the celestial circus of the spotlight. And every strong Aries chart, Libra chart, Cancer chart, Capricorn chart has been, you know, getting a hold of me before this show going, am I out of this yet? Is it like my time to come out on the other side of the forest because the trees are throwing apples at me? And I got all kinds of like dark things trying to invade my shields. What the heck? So I can say with certainty that after November 2nd, when we had Mercury and the latter degrees of Libra, which is always seeking just to have harmony and win-win in their most private, intimate, contractual co-op agreements, not just an intimate, sensual partner, but Libra just is always saying, can we not just all get along? Really? We're all going to screw up. We're all going to slip. Well, it is. It depends on your sign. It depends on your motivation. It depends on your integrity. So can it be done? Yes. Do you have to shift your focus and make it a priority? Yeah. But that's what's going on right now. We're now going from the cardinal signs, those 4 signs, we're shifting elements. We did shift elements in the 3rd week of October, but we're especially going to enter into a Scorpio stellium by Mercury going into Scorpio, like before the 6th. Mars is going into Scorpio. Oh, Lord. It's not been there since like October, November of 2019.
Mars into Scorpio.
Write that down.
That's pretty nasty.
Yeah, write that down. Yeah, write that down. So and then Venus is going to Capricorn. So we're going into this water and earth, but the main thing to look at when you're looking at celestial recipes is, okay, I'm going into an energetic emphasis of the fixed signs. The fixed signs don't like to budge until they're ready to budge. They notice every damn thing, and they understand more than the other signs. They understand that through crisis and chaos comes change. It's not the fixed signs of Taurus, Scorpio, Leo, and Aquarius fully understand, because they've had those kind of lives and lives events, that when life knocks you off your feet or derails you or you get your legs knocked out from under you, it's how, as we say in the South, you get back up and get in the saddle again. Mm-hmm. So we're all going into that trigger area. The next circus act is where we all hold Taurus, Scorpio. That's one axis, where you've got the Taurus, Scorpio axis in your star charts, and where you've got the Leo, Aquarius axis in your chart. So you really only have to figure out 2 of them. If you figure out where you've got Taurus and you figure out where you've got Aquarius, then you've got the other 2, because they're directly opposite of each other, and they're polarity archetypes to each other. So we're now in the archetype of the secrets of the underground, everything that's underneath what you see on the surface besides what's going on submerged, what's submerged in our subconscious, what's pending in our passions? What are the pursuits to prosperity? So, I play with words a lot, Joe. And so this new moon, I keep feeling like that the Pluto, we're going to start with some words that can help give us frequency identification themes for this season of Scorpio 2021. So Pluto is the ruler of Hades, the underworld in Greek and Roman mythology, and it's the governor, the governing teacher influence of the sign and the aspects of the sign and the frequencies of Scorpio. So pivotal points, purging the urges that are self-defeating, so how we're purging our psychological poisons, how we're beginning to prioritize our psyche, which is a fancy Latin word for the soul, and how we are pursuing the passions and the prosperity that we know is something that we tend to fear. And fear, to me, fear and rageaholic, debilitating type of anger and fear that we get frozen in our tracks, and it's how they lead the sheep over the cliff when they keep you caught up in chaos and fear, is the stuff that demons feed on. And so when we get into certain cycles of the tween times or the thinnings of the veil, I believe it's helpful for us to kind of back up and pause for a minute and stop multitasking on all our electronics and remind ourselves, what is the origin of the veil? The veil is a shield. The veil can be a protection. The veil can be an invisibility cloak. But what is the veil? So the veil is a part of what can help us move in stealth mode, an unrecognizable form from the agencies of darkness. So when you get into like a lot of ancient religious or spiritual texts, they talk about how, whether it's in Buddhism or Christianity, that there was the angels, how they became fallen angels is they saw the human women of earth and they decided to collaborate with them in all kinds of interesting ways. And there was the Nephilim, or the giants, that were born. And so when they were killed, well, those spirits couldn't go back to the heavenlies. Most people kind of forget that. Those spirits were allowed to roam here because they were hybrids. So the way that when you're going through a thinning of the veil cycle or the dark night of the soul, or you just feel like everything around you seems to be having a stick thrown in the wheel and it's not going forward, or everything seems to be crashing around you and you're starting to move into that victim vampire pity party, stop and say, oh, maybe, just maybe, it'd be a really good time to light the sage, do my affirmations, summon the almighty I am, the grace and the hallowed glory clouds of light. If you're Buddhist, then maybe it's time to sit down and do a meditation where you once again release attachment to the outcome of things. Tonight, as this new moon happens, it's the strongest festival to the Sikhs, to the Hindus. It's called Diwali, and it's the Festival of Lights. And it's as important to the Hindus on this new moon night, because a lot of festivals around the world happen near new moons or full moons. This one is where the light overcomes the darkness. And they have a 5-day celebration of where they're celebrating the light and Lakshmi and how, once again, the light prevails, there's another P word, over the energies of darkness to try to infect we mortals with jeweled, magnificent souls. We're these luminescent, multidimensional biochemical wonders. We're like walking rainbows, and we have electromagnetic frequencies, and it's housed in an earthly body. We have a cup, we have an earthly vessel that our spirit is operating and being driven, or we're driving out of. And Scorpio is that season, November. So whether that's the no's, N-O's that we need to say, or the knowing, K-N-O-W, the know, be a member of knowing in November, it's time for us to start to really drop the gauntlet, set the boundaries, and say, no, not anymore. I'm not getting drug into the drama. I'm not going to let you get me to the point of how dare you. Why don't you just tell me the truth? It's kind of truth or dare, truth or consequences. Scorpio starts to expose all of that we tried to keep secret, even the good-sided part of us that didn't want to say something to somebody to hurt their feelings, or it's like the person that has to fire somebody at work and they don't want to have to hurt someone and their livelihood and take food out of their family's mouth, yet it's their job to hire or fire. So Scorpio gives us that tsunami wave of the consequences of our choices. And if our choices are leading us deeper into a beguiled and bewitched manner of getting off the main soul mission purpose path, are we being beguiled and lured off of the path of our higher authentic good by things that are temptations of the world? Now, that doesn't mean we can't have great sensuality. We can't enjoy some really fine feast of food or people or music or dance or creative artistry. All of that goes to extreme when we get into the stelliums of Scorpio. So Scorpio has to do with, how do I detach? How do I chill out and go to center and get the hell away from everybody else's drama theaters? Because Scorpio becomes the archetype of the magician, the detective, the person that's in psyops, the soldier of fortune, those that go in and do all the secret missions, the special forces, perhaps now in combination with the Aquarian Space Force, it has to do with the Navy SEALs, those that go in first, like those that stormed Normandy, and those people that gather all the intelligence, the double spies and the psyops world, and everything to where people are going into the ghost of the machine. And when you think about when you study voice-to-skull technology, so it's got to do with Havana syndromes, and it's got to do with how can I go undetected with footsteps of invisibility and accomplish what I want to do? How can I lay down the seeds to direct the masses to go this way? So Scorpio is, are you getting stung? When you think about the scorpion, the creature, are you going to let yourself get stung by fear of change? Are you going to let yourself be self-poisoned by people who come in with dark agendas like greed or jealousy, or they're copying other people's work and taking credit for it, all that kind of like, I need to have applause and attention, so I'm going to go ahead and just grab it while I can grab it and just stomp on anybody that I can to get there because, damn it, it's my turn. That's going to come back to have consequences. And in the order of studying the stars and the signs and the elements, earth, air, fire, water, spirit within, without, everything that's orbiting around you, all this stuff builds up in your etheric atmosphere. And every year when we come to the longer season of Scorpio, and on this show I wanted to give you just some headlines from like this month, just since October, November, and how that it defines in real-time external circumstances the intensity of Scorpio. So Scorpio is when we get to see, we get like a little inventory, a little reset, a little upgrade on have we been leveling up or have we been succumbing to our own villains, our own inner demons, our own, what do we need to purge and what's ending up being poisonous to the purpose of our visionary quest. So Scorpio gives us the hard answers. Scorpio is time to have that discussion. Yeah. So, it's like, or yeah, I did say that. I did say that, and I'm going to qualify it. So it's like when you come to the table prepared, and Scorpio's like, now don't ask my ass unless you want the answer. Because when you ask me, I'm going to tell you. So you might want to skirt around this one until you're more prepared. Because it's not, you have to be a Scorpio to do that. That's the investigative surgeon of Scorpio. This is psychic surgery. So those of you that learn to work with the star language in a sense of, so Scorpio's the bowels in medical astrology, and Scorpio's also the fun, spicy parts of humanoids' sexuality and sensuality. So it's the play parts, it's the playground parts. So Scorpio's like what we need to get rid of at one end. The things that we've already extracted all the nutrients out of what we ate or what we took in psychically or what we took in astrally, and it's got to come out somewhere. It's got to come out the opposite end. So it can be that our own viral load gets too heavy, and so that will start to derail or infect the areas of our desires, the areas of our passions, and the areas of like, I really feel better in my life when I hang out with that person, or this partnership is going well, or I really feel like that I'm meeting people that acknowledge and appreciate and substantiate my work, whatever it is that you do. Now, I will tell you that one of the things that my higher guide said to me, and I'm like, whoa, that's the theme of Scorpio this year? And so I literally, before the show tonight, a couple hours before the show tonight, went over to the website and did, the purging of our poisons in this Scorpio season. And here's the main caveat that my guides gave me that I got to study and figure out mystically and come up with some good dessert answers on is they said that somehow in this cycle, in this celestial cycle, one of the lesser talked about meanings of Scorpio becomes our teacher. Somehow in this cycle, death becomes a teacher. So it might be that someone that we care about goes through a divorce death. Someone we care about, even in a successful way, leaves a certain job, it just ends. Or all the people that are migrating because of divisions between tribes and beliefs and customs, even in this country, and they're pouring into Texas and Florida and places that are going to open up the economy versus more lockdowns or more top-down type of mandates and restrictions. We're noticing, and I'm going to move quickly, Joe, into these current events right now.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, these are
I got to tell you, I went to the DMV office today to get my driver's license, and they shut that sumbitch down. They said, listen, you can only get in here by appointment. I've never seen that many people in my life.
Wow. Well, and also, and Florida's a Pisces state, so Florida right now with all this Scorpio energy, Florida, the water element of Scorpio, Pisces, and Cancer kind of concur. I'd have to check again. Pretty sure Texas has got a lot of Sagittarius flavor to it, but these states that are beginning to open up. You've got people waiting and offering higher prices, even in Tennessee, and you're going to start to see, and it's starting tonight, that you're going to start seeing states start to sue the authorities and the governments. The states are going to start to fight back because there's certain things that the states have decided with constitutional law that libertarians are beginning to, we the people is Aquarius. We the people are beginning to bow up now. For the last 19 to 20 months, the nodes have been North Node Gemini, false information, fake news, everybody swirling all over the place just to get everybody running around in circles, like, just chasing your tail in circles. Which way do I go? Which way do I go? And the Mad Hatter, and it's like, I'm late for a very important date, but yet nobody has substantiated facts, and they'll fight anyway. And that's the South Node in Sagittarius. I'm right, you're wrong, get away from me. So all that stuff has been the nodal cycle that we've had for the last 19 months. Well, that's shifting. Another time to take some notes. Go back to 2002. In your life, who was a priority? What was a priority? What was your passion? What was your purpose? And what did you have to purge and let go of? That's the last cycle when we had the North Node in the sign of Taurus the Bull, fixed Earth, and the South Node moving into Scorpio, moving through Scorpio for the next 19 months. So we're starting that as we end this year and begin 2022. The North Node is going to shift into Taurus. That's our resources. That's our money. That's what we can live without, or that's where we're getting too cluttered. That's when our stuff is owning us rather than we being the owner of the stuff. It starts that master-slave type of a syndrome. It's like, how much are you attached to the material world? You will see in 2022 into 2024 people beginning to appreciate more of purging and being Buddhist in their attitude of like, I'm not going to have so much clutter. Now, the dark side of that will be like Charles Schwab saying, you will own nothing and you will like it. So there goes into the slave master type of thing. So the Scorpio part of it is the Scorpio-Taurus polarity dynamic has a lot to do with what really holds really in this life, truly. Not what society says, not what my generation says, Generation X or Z or this or what. What really matters much to me, what really is my definition of abundance and prosperity and makes my soul sing. So, like just for me, with the stellium in Scorpio, my first allegiance is to the divine command and the almighty I am army. That's my first allegiance. I will bow to no mortal. So I am very happy plugging into the supernatural world. It has guided me my whole life. It was my familiar when I was a child. So it has never, ever let me down. It's only gone wonky when I argued with it or I didn't listen to my intuition. So the only place that I was blessed in Earth class was that I had it and I recognized it early on. when you start to debate with, it makes your life no easier to be like a natural intuitive or psychic, because then you have stuff that comes through and they're like, blah, 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 it's going to happen. Oh, I don't know about that, you know. Okay, and then it happens, you know, and so then you self-sabotage. So, no, it's not always easy to be psychic and know things and see things. There's times when you can speak about it, and there's times that don't bother. They don't have eyes to see, ears to hear, and you're not a know-it-all, see-it-all anyway. And any psychic that tells you they know it all and they see it all about your life is a BS artist, and they're lying to you. So let me quickly go through some of the events that are going to be fresh on our little ADD minds that have been happening, and some of them you might not have heard of so much because all the news is getting censored. So Channel 7 tonight out of Israel on their news station, and there's more research, of course, because it just happened tonight, spoke on a story, and the way that it came across the news, I heard the clip, was that the start of the United States as a country's collapse has begun. And even though prophecy says that America would always defend Israel, that America may not be able to help Israel if there's an attack from Iran. That fascinated me as an astrologer, whatever the resource of that is. It may be out of China. It may just be hitting the news. But it was on the Israeli station, for real. It was on Channel 7 out of Israel, is that Israel is a Taurus country. The Queen of England has been in the news with a recent, a little more, lingering type of health issue, whatever that is. We'll be the last to know on that. She's a Taurus. She's an April-born Taurus. So Uranus is in Taurus. So as we start to have the nodal shifts into Taurus and Scorpio, we're going to start seeing secrets exposed about even cryptocurrency, cyber wars, AI, technology used to, like I said, voice to skull or interfere with our thoughts, or the whole virtual reality and the whole, like metaverse or whatever they're trying to turn Facebook into. That was in the news. Zuckerberg's in Aquarius. There's one of those fixed signs. The La Palma volcano, that started erupting into September, October. It's continuing to get strengthened with that. Scorpio rules the bowels and the fissures of the Earth Mother. The Earth Mother is Taurus. And so from the innermost regions of the underneath what we see on the surface of the dirt, La Palma volcano keeps, in the Canary Islands, keeps erupting, keeps exploding. What's interesting about that one is that even though we're kind of in for a winter chill, when the volcanic ash goes up, it actually helps the heat stay closer into the earth. My next news story was they're uncovering some cyber attacks that were aimed with drones to hit our grid, to hit our electrical grid. That's a pretty easy one to figure out, our power grid, our power. So you look at that P word, what grants you power, what takes your power away. There comes that slave master thing again of the negative side of Taurus and Scorpio, the sadistic versus the masochistic. On the election night here, where they're saying there was an upset in Virginia, they didn't think it would go that way, Pluto was squared by Mercury. And that has to do with sabotage. It has to do with upsets in the judgments or the news or the rules, and it has a lot to do with undercurrents, what's really going on underneath, subterfuge. Speaking about submerged or underneath, the USS Connecticut nuclear submarine in early October, so it kind of started up in Libra, but it just came into the news again. That nuclear submarine collided with what they called a mystery underneath the sea. Our side of the story is that we had a sea mount in the South China Sea. So we were like doing our little patrol and our maneuvers. Well, China says, no, that region is theirs. And now China is beginning to say, no, we had a nuclear spill and we're lying to our country, but we had a nuclear spill when that submarine hit whatever it hit over there in the South China Sea. So see, there's some more psyops. So you can take one side or the other, but do you know, were you on the submarine? But what hit the news tonight at the new moon is that the entire crew that was in charge of the USS Connecticut has been let go. So when they get rid of the people that were there, boots on the ground, something's going on. The other thing that we have going on is that the space debris, the magnetic storms, they're talking about meteor storms. They're talking about it being unprecedented with how many of the aurora borealis and the northern lights, how they're going to be dipping down. That happened, I think, back in 1996 in a really strong way, which was interesting. So there's a lot of stuff going on with the geomagnetic, what's above our heads. And so I would like for all of you to start researching supernova stars and the magna stars. So Magnestar. Magnet and star kind of put together, but drop the S. So I put that on my website over there. So start looking at what a Magnestar out of a supernova can do to the magnetic fields of a human. So right now you need to familiarize yourself more with, in magic and in alchemy, the difference between the shivers and the electrical illuminations of the yang, the electrical principles, versus the magnetic and what we're breathing and what we're drawing into ourselves. So Scorpio's giving us a lot of the magnetic vibration. So I would like to suggest that each of you awaken your own protective shields. What do you believe and what do you ascribe to that you know assists and protects you against evil? Assist and protects you and lets you recognize when something is against your higher self or against your own intuition. This is not a time to argue with it, because the darkest aspects of Scorpio can be that full-blown snatch your ass, kidnap you, rape you, and take you into the underworld, just like it talks about in Greek myth with Persephone. So this is the time, the strongest time between now and before we get to our lunar eclipse. They're calling it a partial lunar eclipse on November 19th at the full moon, but it's 97.4% of an eclipse. So it's really, really close to a full eclipse. And that's going to be on November 19th. That's going to be that first nodal Taurus type of a thing. So look at what's wanting to leave your life financially, sexually, people that have not been respecting your boundaries or not been respecting your principles, or they're just, not on your team. People from the past are coming back in. Mercury's shadow period ended on the 2nd. So what's happening is we're now leaving that whole Mercury Libra stuff, and we're going into, we got to be our own detectives. We've got to do our own discernment, and we've got to rebuke the drama, because it's the drama and the dance of distracting you and taking your energies into just earthly scenarios and earthly reality shows and soap operas of the worst kind that is allowing the darker forces to thin your veil and get you to exhale exhaustion instead of inhaling integrity and possibilities. So how about that?
That's a lot. I mean, well, like, I knew it was coming. I said this on the last show when we were doing the, as we were going through Aries into the Libra and all that stuff. I said, I got a feeling that this Scorpio season is gonna be a doozy. And when I mean a doozy, I mean it's the end road. So death is a thing that I think, and you can correct me here if you want, but we resist, and we resist it as the soul tries to pull us through it. And the more we resist it, the more things get chaotic. And the only way to break that chaos is not to stay in between. It's either stay in the old ways or go through the death and change. Stop fighting it, one or the other. You got to do it.
Well, or at least stop just doing automatic pilot from your subconscious. Scorpio is the depths. At least when you start to go into that same mainstream type of pattern of how you always are reactive or how you always are defensive and how you get up on your hind legs or raise your sword or raise your voice or start to want to cut with words and wound because, my God, I'm not going to get hurt this time. I'll throw my on the edge words out there already. I'll incite them before they get to excite me. So that goes back to, we're going to keep coming back to that statement that my own high psychic guides gave me. Somehow the death becomes a teacher, which is why Joe used that tarot card of death on the banner of tonight's show, because Scorpio is the sign of death. Scorpio is the death card in traditional tarot. It is number 13. This new moon and all of the new moons going into March have the Sabian symbol of 13 degrees, because all of the new moons going into March of 2022 will be at 12 degrees, in between 12 and 13 degrees. And get this, every one of the full moons are going to be at 27 degrees of that sign. So 2 and 7 in numerology is the 2 of details and the 7 of spirit, but it equals 9. 9 in numerology is, that's it, got to change. Take that foot out of the door of the past, and you're not throwing the baby out with the bathwater, but what you're doing is you've got to start realize where you're allowing either the other externally, and or you projecting that onto a mirror to distract you from what you really need to do that brings you creative passion and purpose, because the highest symbol of Scorpio is the phoenix. But before the phoenix is rising with those lovely supernatural flames, it had spontaneous combustion. So it had to go through the trial by fire. So Scorpio being a fixed sign, in nature, the actual creature of a scorpion, if it sees that it's losing a battle with another creature that it's fighting, it stings its own self in the back. It takes its own self out. That's facts. That's nature facts about scorpions, the creature. They take that stinger and they put it right down into themselves, and it's almost like, nah, you don't get me, I'll do it. I'm checking out. You don't get to take me out. No, literally, and I've met Scorpios like that. I'll screw my own life up better than you ever could. Watch this. And somehow,
that's so crazy.
Well, there's such a thing with the Scorpio psyche when it goes negative. You're talking about serial killers. You're talking about true psyops into psychotic. It takes a certain type of disrespect for death of creatures for someone to actually be a gun for hire or a mafioso killer or, a hitman for different countries. I mean, someone that has to go out there and actually not just be in the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, or the Coast Guard, but someone that actually signs up to be, I'll be the Black Ops assassin.
Yeah.
They exist. They exist with every country, every country that's wanting to achieve power. And it doesn't get any more scorpionic than when you think about Saturn in Aquarius right now. That's everything cyber. It's everything space, multidimensional, the red pill in the Matrix, not the red pill that has to do with that Reddit site where men complain about women. But the red pill with Morpheus and Neo, it's like, okay, you can take the blue pill, you can go back to sleep, and none of this ever happened. Or it's like Men in Black when they hit the people with that gun, they erase their memory. Okay, I think that's really going on in the world.
It's crazy. I watched the whole Matrix trilogy the other night, like the night before last.
That's so Scorpio. That's so Scorpio. Yeah, if you guys want to get into just how intense Scorpio is psychologically and does a mind screw with you, the Matrix series. Yeah, just what Joe said. Yeah, it's just where you go, whoa, so it's like, wow. So and actually that gives you a nice reset when you look at certain aspects of sci-fi and psychological, like even that movie Inception. When you look at the dream world and you look at, or Avatar. I love Avatar from a metaphysical standpoint. They're going to start making Avatar 2 in 2022. But Avatar, when you go rewatch Avatar, and you realize the multidimensional shift from the worlds. The earthly guy wasn't paralyzed in the world of Avatar. He wasn't paralyzed. He had full function, but he was paralyzed with his agenda that he had from the earth that he brought over to the blue people. So, she had to take him to the world tree to get him to pay attention. So what we're going through right now, we are officially in eclipse season. And this is absolutely the most intensified time of the year because we've got Uranus exactly opposing the sun and the moon in Scorpio, and Saturn's coming in to square it from Aquarius. So Taurus is the rules. Scorpio is, I'm going to try to grab the power of this whole thing, and I'm going to be the secrets of, I'm going to get the secrets out of Taurus and Aquarius, and then I'll use that to my advantage. And if I like them, I'll help make them famous, but or I'll help them out. But the Scorpio is always going to be the silent stealth. It's always going to be, I have to take care of me. It's up to me. I have to take responsibility for me. If there's add-ons, great, if they play fair. So the Aquarius is like we the people, and Taurus, the whole Taurus Capricorn thing has been, I'm going to resist change, and I really don't want the government to tell me what to do with my money and my privacy. Scorpio.
Yeah, so, and you don't have to be a Scorpio to feel this stuff. This is just the energy that's happening, right?
No, this is the cycle right now, but there is an add-on in each of our charts. If you're smart, you keep learning about your star map because it's your frequencies. It's not your religion. It's not something you believe in. It's about your frequencies and your motivations and how to accomplish things. So the Scorpio part of your chart right now is what's coming into the spotlight because the full moon is going to be in Taurus. It's going to be the eclipse in Taurus. So it's the Taurus Scorpio of our charts right now that are saying, here's the current events. Here's where you got to, buckle down and do some work. And it's not going away. We have to face it. This is that time where we have to start that difficult or needed conversation.
You okay, Mary?
Yeah, I have to take a drink because I talked really fast and a whole lot.
I'll tell you what, let's take a break, and when you come back, you're going to do the signs, right? So.
Yes, sir.
All right, we're going to take a break. We'll be right back. When we open up the phone lines, we got the good phone system back, so we will have 4 lines, actually, so you can set in and wait if you want to. But we're going to go through the signs.
I'll be busy.
Yeah, hopefully, right? Yep. We'll go through the signs when Mary Dusina gets back, and then we'll have call-ins, too. Be right back. So, your signs, that's what we're going to be talking about next, and Mary, take it away.
So let's recap just a little bit, because to Joe's point, dear audience, whether you're listening to this live or the replay, I don't want you to move so past going into your sign that you don't really just take a skinny second and appreciate the fact that it's the subterfuge, it's the passions that you've got lying below the surface, and it's also your frustrations that you've got lying below the surface. Remember, the volcano, the energy builds up and then it blows. So that's fire, just like the phoenix rises from the fire. So the volcanoes and the emotional shakings, the earthquake shakings and things, there's even earthquakes that happen out in the ocean, in the depths of the ocean. So what's happening is, when we like to go out and dance at parties and things, to the First Nations and indigenous cultures, they call that shaking medicine. Now, we have a ball when we're out dancing and gyrating on the dance floor, and it's fun and it's sensual and it's like, wee, but it's not so much fun when someone has a grand mal epileptic seizure or an animal goes into a seizure. So that's still shaking medicine. So when people go into trances and spin their heads around in shamanic circles and they're like out of it and railing with all kinds of stuff, they're in some kind of spin zone where the body is shaking in some sense or convulsing. So Scorpio is about stop shaking and start making the difference. Stop shaking words over there and stop paralyzing and have a seizure over there and get yourself centered, because Scorpio, it could be that meteor storm. Scorpio can be when the volcano erupts and it's like, oh crap, I need to move a few feet back from this stuff, because it's still a type of a flowing element. It may not be water, but it's like rivers of fire and lava flowing down to the Taurus-y, earthy cities. So the element right now is still waters that run deep. And even Iron Maiden recently got inducted into the Rock Hall of Fame, and they hadn't done a song for 6 years. And forgive me, I can't remember who to give credit to on this. I'm not so sure if it might have been Robert Phoenix, the astrologer, but he deserves credit anyway, so whether he did or not, he's still a good astrologer. But they did a song recently called The Writings on the Wall. And so you might just want, even if you're not an Iron Maiden fan from the recent past, they still accomplish some things. And they bring back Jim Morrison, when Jim Morrison, a Sag, did the song Riders on the Storm, which is pretty famous, just like Jimi Hendrix and the Watchtower. So they've combined all of that with this new song, The Writings on the Wall. And one other thing that's going on is we're going to start to see earthly phenomena. Like there was all kinds of pictures right before Hallows, right before Samhain, the 31st. There was all kinds of pictures that happened in October, again out of Israel, at the south wall by the Gate of Mercy. The bush that was growing there formed 3 of the letters of the unspeakable name of God over there on that wall. You can Google that. It's on the internet. You can see the bush growing, and you can learn what the Hebrew letters are, or the Yohe-Vohe. So it did 3 of those letters, and I'm like, okay, that's literally writing on the wall right there. Then I hear about the Iron Maiden song. So what is your song? Your soul song is what Scorpio wants to reveal to you. So find out, whether you go to astro.com or you want to support whatever astrologer that has helped you in your life, whoever he or she is. For God's sake, spend the Taurus money and get yourself a viable session with someone that has integrity, whoever he or she is, and help point your nose in a good guidance way. They're not supposed to run your life or lead your life. Can I tell you, Joe, how many clients would like me to do that? No, not happening. But we can point you in the optimal direction, whether it's tarot or oracle or your star chart. So here's your biggest clue. You want to do it yourself and save some money? Good. Go figure out where you've got Scorpio and Taurus in your chart. Hope you don't make a mistake. And then go look at, where that hits in your houses and how much of that element that you have. But here's a quick resolution. Water, Scorpio, always has to do with, there used to be a song called I Just Checked In to see what condition my condition is in. That's Scorpio. It's like, how am I really doing within myself? I can tell myself all kinds of millions of thoughts per day, but it's me to me now. How am I doing with me? How do I feel about me, no matter what opportunities or losses are coming into my world? Scorpio, again, is soul, psyche, surgery. So where do we need to, ourselves, as the surgeon, right? Don't throw your power outside yourself. What could you stitch up that's an old wound, or how could you help something heal if you're the surgeon of your soul in tandem, in allegiance with the Almighty I Am, the divine? If you could just connect with however you connect with supernatural empowerment and do some surgery on where your soul or your psyche or psychologically you've been wounded and you just keep seeing the hamster in the wheel on that. You'll see that Giphy over on my website on that post I did about, the purging of the poisons. Scorpio doesn't want you to drink the poison and die, like in Cleopatra, or Romeo and Juliet. Scorpio's saying, the poison's there, get it out, and find your passion fruit. That's the main theme of this. But before I start the signs, I'm going to say again, have a little talk with how death is your teacher. Whether you walked away from an investor, you walked away from a relationship, you walked away from the nurses right now that are walking out, or the doctors that are walking out, or the soldiers or the military's giving up their retirement, Taurus, the money. They're giving it up because they value their right to freedom and liberation to make a choice with whatever dynamic that is. They're not going to let the powers that be infect them with their psyops virus of beliefs. Not even as a bioweapon. This is about, you're not going to tell me what to do with my, whatever created it, spirit in my body. That's the spiritual warfare that's going on right now, that people are bucking up against. You're not going to tell me I don't have say-so with my child, and I don't have say-so with what I eat, and I don't have say-so with what I want to dive deeper into medically, or that I don't. And so now you're going to start to see the Saturn in Aquarius bow up on its hind legs, and you're going to see that people aren't going to be so divisive. People are going to start unifying now. But right now we're going to see the Uranus and Taurus. Taurus doesn't like change, but everybody's moving. Everybody's moving around. So the people that are saying Florida's looking good, Texas is looking good, Tennessee's looking good, what's going on in South Carolina? Is it got a lot of lockdowns, or can I actually live my life? And I just had a couple of clients in Australia that were talking about, they wouldn't even let you order a slice of pizza to go. I mean, it's like some kind of like psyops experiment over there, like another Guantanamo Bay type of prison camp. So it's time for us to go into our higher realm, our higher self, and it's time for us, however you connect into that, to pull in the powers of light, however you want to define that, and not succumb to the fears and the demonic succubus and incubus, vampirical energies that want to drain your life force. Scorpio is rebirth, resurrection after a death. So there might be some of the beliefs that you've held on to for a long time, or the people that you thought you could always believe in, or the people that you thought those relationships had died or needed to die, and you cut them off and it was Scorpio guillotine. Maybe they're coming back resurrected. Maybe that person that rejected you, that betrayed you and ripped you off, is now going to recognize the error of their ways, and that is how we have evolving empowerment. But keep your eyebrow raised, keep your intuitive antenna on high, because if I tell you that Scorpio energies on the darkest side are the sinister aspects of greed and the sinister aspects of jealousy of you, that's out there right now. So to me, the win-win is learn how to have your force fields and your veils nice and strong, and that you know what it looks like to look behind the veil, to not just get caught in the void, but let the void bring in the light to help you see what you need to see, and for you to remain invisible and not noticed by any dark forces. So here we go. Circus time. Dun, 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 dun. So it's happy birthday, Scorpio. You are the most, I think that Scorpio and Pisces are emotionally the most mysterious signs. They are definitely still waters that run deep, and you only get to really know them if they want you to really get to know them. But pretty much if you've got Scorpio friends that care about holistic living and care about ethics and integrity, they're your go-to male and female type of go-to advisors and friends that won't just tell you what you want to hear. they'll tell you what it is that you've been avoiding, type of a thing, or that maybe you're not ready for it. The Scorpio probably won't care. But if you ask the Scorpio and they're an ally of yours, they're going to tell you. So for Scorpios right now, it's a cycle of seeds and beginning. And this is that new moon. And the Sabian symbol of this new moon between the 12th and the 13th degree of Scorpio has a lot to do with when we go into our laboratory and we're going to try to experiment with ourselves and the things that we want to manifest. And what happens when you're in the lab? You have to run some tests. And you're going to have some chemical failures, and you're going to have some chemical aha moments. And so that's what's going on right now with our biochemistry. So Scorpio is telling us, purge your poisons. And for Scorpio, right now, the purging factor for Scorpios is less. Scorpio got hit with it in the season of Libra because Scorpio was going through its 12th house. Right now, I would say this month, until we talk again at the December solar eclipse on the 4th, right around in there, this is a time where Sagittarians right now, because Scorpio is the 12th house. It's the sign before Sagittarius. So I would say that Scorpios are now coming out of the pressure, and Sagittarius has a lot of stuff that they've got to reorganize psychologically, psychically, spiritually, and emotionally. And I would say to Sagittarius, to thine own self be true. If anybody's potentially going to be feeling like they're getting drained by opposing energies, it could be Sagittarius or Gemini right now, because what's going on with Sagittarius is its 12th house, and what's going on with Gemini is too many irons in the fire, tossing all the balls up in the air, hoping they catch some of them, or they become a really good juggler in the process, because it's kind of hard for Gemini to hit the bullseye right now. But your health is your first wealth, and I'm going to say to Sagittarius, your psychological, your spiritual, and your soul health right now has to be your priority. That's your P word. Has to be your priority and your passion. How's your passion doing with how you regenerate and come back from, life's good, bad, and ugly changes? Change will always set into motion what we need to learn about ourselves. So it's an easy change. Do we get selfish? Do we get greedy? If it's prosperous, do we know how to handle wealth? Do we know how to handle it in our attitude? With Gemini, it actually could get physical. It's like if you are not regenerating yourself and you're not getting that massage or you're not getting that quiet time, it's really hard for Gemini and Virgo to allow themselves to have quiet time. For them, that's usually when their mouth is open and they fell asleep while the movie's on. They just go until they zone out. So I'm telling you, Gemini, it's time for you to take care of you. Stop expecting other people to do it right now until we get to the 21st of November. You need to also pay attention to you. And if you're Sagittarius, you may find people are hitting your short fuse pretty quick. You may not want to admit it, but you really need some time alone to regroup and kind of get your bearings psychologically. If you're a Pisces, I would say that Pisces, with it being the 5th house in the state of Florida, is a Pisces. It's a March 3rd incorporation of the state. Pisces places, the Pisces points in our star charts, that's where things are going to be flowing pretty easy, because Scorpio for Pisces is the number 5. So it's like the creative changes. And it's the part of us that gets to feel like, ooh, I composed that, and I've got a concert flowing here, and I really feel like that my confidence is getting boosted. That's a 5th house type of thing, when you've got the energies lighting up the 5th house. So for Pisces people, Pisces moons and Pisces ascendants, something's beginning to give them some good news, or some extra confidence is coming in. If you're a Virgo, your serenity and your support's coming from your tribe, from your circle of friends. So if and the Virgo people that you know in your life right now can really stand by your side, walk along beside you, and give you some pretty good pointers. I'd say that the Virgos that we know out there, Scorpio's kind of lighting up their dream weaving zone of their chart, so they might have some really good perspectives on what it is that we could do financially or creatively, or the type of people that we need to associate ourselves with on the new endeavor. If you're a Capricorn, it's the 3rd house. So, okay, Capricorn, it's a mercurial type of thing. So it's how you're saying what you're saying, why you're saying what you're saying, and are you avoiding having the conversation that so obviously needs to be had. So Capricorn, like its opposite sign, Cancer, can tend to retreat. It's the goat that goes out to sea, or it's up on the craggy rock like the mermaid out there, like, yeah, I'm out here right now. I can see, I got some horns, I got a tail, I can go high or low, whatever I want to do. So, and Capricorn can, but not when it's your third house. So when Scorpio's lighting up that house, that region for you, it's time for you in a sense to say, maybe I could ponder this a little bit before I speak my piece, So again, it's the style and the momentum of how you're getting your point across. I think it's good for the Capricorns out there, or the moons or the rising signs, to choose their words wisely. Yeah, make wise word choices. If you're Taurus, it's the 7th house. So if you're a Taurus rising or a Taurus moon or a Taurus sun sign, the Taurus area of all of our charts, some of you have it on the 5th or the 9th or the 3rd or the 4th, the Taurus zone of your chart is where Uranus is coming in to oppose all this Scorpio. So there's no place like home, and how you doing in there anyway? Taurus and the sign of Cancer resist changes of all the other signs the most. They get a little scared of changes. They like what's familiar. They like routine. They like what's predictable, especially in their bank account or the money that they're carrying in their purse or their car or hidden around their house. They like to check on their investments. They get a little OCD about all of that, and it is very hard for the bull to leave the pasture of their finances, and it's very hard for the crab claw to let go of what they worked so hard to do or they built so much time into, and so that's why they stay in miserable jobs or relationships, because to them, even if it's crappy, there's a Scorpio word, even if it's kind of, a pile of hot mess, then they really, it's still, I don't care if it is bad, it's familiar, and I don't know what's out there, so at least I know what kind of crazy, I've had people say that to me, at least I know what kind of crazy this is. I'm like, wow, did you just say that? Is that good enough for you? So the Taurus Scorpio right now, especially for Taurus and Scorpio, is saying you need to do a new inventory list on what matters. And so I would say that especially so for Taurus and Cancer this month. And so if you're Leo, then it's 10th house. If you're Aquarius, it's 4th house. So there's some parental stuff going on, not just because Thanksgiving's coming. If you're a Hindu, you're over there doing Diwali and the Festival of Lights, so Buddhist or Hindu. So as these family type of or cultural celebrations or ceremonies or beliefs get kicking in, a few of you Leos and Aquarius are beginning to bow up against what your family thinks you oughta, coulda, shoulda do with the holidays or the birthdays or the anniversaries. So there's a debate going on with the Leos and the Aquarians out there. Why? Saturn is in the sign of Aquarius. So those Aquarians out there that are turning 28 and a half to 30, those Leos out there that are turning 28 and a half to 30 or 58 to 60 years old, if you're a Leo or an Aquarius, you're going through a Saturn opposition and a Saturn return. This is an epic time in your life. If you're just approaching 30 or you're just approaching 60 and you're a Leo or an Aquarian, this is an epic time in your life to where you look at, I really have to change my life. And you could have been a truck driver for the last 20, 25 years or a nurse, and you're going to be walking out, much to your surprise. Let me tell you, any nurse that's getting ready to walk out right now, or a doctor that's getting ready to walk out, and by the way, the other thing that hit the news, don't know if you know this, Joe, November 4th, they deemed as World Walkout Day. Now, I haven't seen any news stories on it, but there was this big campaign that was starting for November 4th to be World Walkout Day, walk away from the governments of the world trying to fracture us and take things off of our life or off of our plate.
Right on.
So I support it. If you're an Aries, Scorpio and Aries share a bit of a kinship or a cousin vibration with the planet Mars, because Mars hung out and is happy with Aries and Scorpio until they assigned Pluto an on-again, off-again position. I absolutely believe that Pluto makes the difference between Aries. Aries is definitely Mars, and to me, Pluto is definitely Scorpio. It just is. But I can tell you that with Mars going into Scorpio right now, shortly 2 days after this new moon, Mars is strong. Mars was weak The whole time it was in Libra, Mars just said, hey, how you doing? I got on my spurs, I got on my chaps, I got my cowboy hat on, and I don't give a damn what state it is, I'm riding. So it's like ride or die. It's ride or die because Mars likes to surge forward. It's all about the engine in motion, right? And Scorpio is about death. So it's like, are you my ride or die? So what are we willing to ride or die for? So that's what's going on, and especially for Aries, because whenever Mars changes signs, and especially when Mars does its dance in Aries or Scorpio, and it's going to be in there till mid-December, then Aries gets this new surge of, damn, I got some kind of like, I'm strutting it, I'm feeling good. I don't need to get too cocky now. I need to just pay attention to the plan. But a lot of things will start to have a better type of accomplishment orbit around Aries and Scorpios right now. So those are going to be the signs speaking out, going, you said what? Did you say that to me? Oh, no, that's not how that's going to go. Say it again. So there's something about, I would advise everybody, try not to kick to the curb or diss your Aries and your Scorpio people right now. They're really in a strong, powerful accomplishment position. This is not the time you want to kick the Aries or the Scorpio in the butt, because they may not retaliate, might not, but they might raise their eyebrow and remember it, go, oh, look at there. So, yeah, they have really good memories like that. They have really good memories like that. Doesn't mean the Scorpio or the Aries is always right, but it means that they care enough about getting it right more than being right when they're evolving. And I did add that caveat, when they're evolving. If you're a Libra, this is the time for you to really focus on how you can get your assets, your finances, your resources settled down. So if you're a Libra, it's like stop focusing on just, what you lost. Take that foot out of the door and walk forward into the changes that are wanting to embrace you. And I get it. If you're a Libra or an Aries, you've literally been walking a tightrope without a safety net underneath you since mid-September. Absolutely. It's why I spoke so much at length about it for the cardinal signs last month. But I'm telling you, Scorpio, Taurus, Leo, and Aquarius, you need to stay right on your game, keep full attention to it, and everybody else that thinks that they don't have to worry about Taurus or Scorpio, they're fixed signs. Taurus has to do with your money, honey. It has to do with what's putting butter and jelly on your bread. So that part of your life, and if you're happy or not in how you're making currency flow in your life, be it money or barter or whatever you're doing, that could be how death becomes a teacher. Somehow, death is going to be a teacher to us this month. And it might be, let go of your tight grip. Let go of it. Let go and trust.
Let go and trust.
Yeah, because there's demons or angels, and Scorpio says, pick. It's time to choose.
Very interesting.
And that's the signs. Yeah, that's the signs. I mean, I do want to say, so many astrologers are talking about how intense this eclipse is. I mean, and if you're into astrology for 10 or more years, you're going, holy moly, look at this one going on, like we did when there was the Capricorn lineup that was before the lockdown in March of 2020. Astrologers that have been in it 25 years or more, like myself, caught that there was going to be some type of bioweapon plague event that was going to take place back when Mars was in Scorpio in 2019. I remember looking at it going, oh, we don't have the Capricorn lineup yet, but we got something infectious coming in, because I remember studying the AIDS dynamic back in 93. So those of us that have looked at those cycles, that's what astrology can help you with. You can use history, even though they're trying to erase it. You can use history as your reference point to going, oh, yeah, when you don't know what exactly is coming in front of you astrologically, and you're looking at the repeating cycles and orbits of planets and signs, you can go back to the last time it did it. So those of you that are turning 30, so 30 years ago was the last time that Saturn was in Aquarius. That's the last time it was there. Yeah, because it happens when you're turning 29 to 30, and your second Saturn return is when you're happening between age 58 and 60. So that's the signs, really, that are in the most intense pressure right now. Well, those specific Leos and Aquarius at that age point, within that, close to 2 years before 30, like 19 months before 30, they're in that cycle right now where it's going, what's it all about? Is it worth it? And they're looking at liquidating, or they're looking at disengaging from things that are literally remember it's Scorpio time, what's literally draining your vital life force right now? Rebuke that. Guillotine that. That's what poison you need to purge right now, is who, what, or where is literally draining your life force every time you get involved with it or them. That's what Scorpio teaches us. Are you going to be a phoenix? Or are you going to sting yourself because this person or this job or that money or that loan or that attitude keeps poking the tiger in the cage? If you're the tiger in the cage, you can move yourself around the cage when someone's got the stick to where they can't get the stick at you so much, and the tiger's like, yeah, come closer. Yeah, come on. Yeah, get in a little closer. Yeah, that's right. Bring that stick in a little closer. Look, I'm on this side of the circus car right now.
Yeah.
Go ahead and poke me again.
Don't act surprised.
That's exactly right. Lure them in. And that's exactly what, even if you're a good stealth soldier, if you're a good researcher in your field and you're very productive in sales or marketing, you're not out to rip anybody off. The short game is if you laugh about how much money you got out of that person and how you drug them down on price. That's the short win. The long range win is the win-win.
That's the war.
And that's the higher octave of Scorpio. Yeah, that's the higher octave of Scorpio. I'll not only help you, I'll give a damn enough that we both win. And that advances your soul spiritually and metaphysically, too.
All righty. So when we come back, we're going to take your phone calls. Mary's going to give you a free reading, which is a really good thing, right? If you want a full reading, a life-changing reading, go to marydusina.com. and get one scheduled today. We'll be right back. 1-800-588-0335. The lines are open. Lines 1 and 2 already have callers waiting. We got 2 lines open waiting right now. 1-800-588-0335 if you want to talk to Mary. We'll be right back. So here we go. We're going to open up the phone lines here at 1-800-588-0335. If you can't get through, that means the lines are full. We got 4 of them, so Mary is going to start taking your calls. You ready to do this, Mary, or what's happening?
I am.
She is that she is. All right. Let's get this done. Let's see. 727 area code. You're on the air with Mary Dusina. Who are we speaking with? 727.
That's Florida.
Yeah, 727 area code. You're on the air with Mary Dusina. Who are we speaking with? Hello. All right, we'll skip you for a second. 713 area code. You're on the air with Mary Dusina. Who are we speaking with?
Oh, yes, this is Russell.
What's up, Russell?
Hey, how's it going, sir?
Pretty good. You got a question for Mary?
Yeah, I also want to do a validation. She told me in June that, that I was going to let my hair back and say, forget it, yeah, whatever, we're just going to do it. And ended up, I was on the fence for years on buying a house. And within 3 weeks after that, I said, we found a house out in the country and, got a contract on it. We just moved into it a couple months ago, and it's been absolutely wonderful. I mean, she was spot on, The question I want to have for her is, the problem is the house we moved out of, it's not selling. We thought that this house would sell in, like a couple of days, but it's not selling. Is it ever going to sell? Is it in the near future? I mean, I was just, we're just pull our hair out trying to.
Okay, so here's what you're going to do. You moved into a portal that pleasantly surprised you and granted you new seeds of wonder and harmony, okay? And you didn't know if that was going to happen if you were on the fence for years, to state your words, and then all of a sudden, the first thing that happened was a good surprise, not a draining type of shock and awe. So now, because you spent so much energy anchored in your former vortex, in your former home, what Spirit's telling me, and I got the strength card in the tarot, which is the lion energy and the telepathic process of the human being able to be in telepathic meditation and oneness, allegiance, with the strength that it takes to move forward or to let go. So you summoned up your faith and your lion courage for both of you to do the contract, get the house, but bam, you manifested that. And so now what's happening is the annoyance is, okay, dang it, we decided to move and we did, and it's all good and everything, so what's that damn leash on me? What's that drag line? Well, so you need to do a harmonious little talk or ceremony, or have some tea together, or toast a glass of wine or champagne together with your partner and say, let's celebrate for the next 10 to 15 minutes the good, the bad, and the ugly that happened when we go back in time to when we moved into that place, and let's give it a proper adios. Let's give it a proper goodbye. Let's say thank you that we got to move forward. We didn't even see it or believe it at the time, and now the validation has happened. And wait a minute, I don't want to kick you to the curb. Thanks for the memories. And you got to let it go. And what you do in the backside of that little quick meditation, affirmation, intention setting process is you say, I now call forth by all that is grace and all that is in harmonious light, the perfect persons at the perfect price to now move in and create this as their sacred, beautiful home of wonder and harmony. So you're going to call in blessings for the person that's now going to walk through the doors that you formerly walked in and out of. You did your final walkout, and now the house is like, hey, what the hell? Am I chopped liver over here? You were with me. You used to be really into me. What about our spice and happy parts and the times you made love over here? Hey, what are you doing over there? I gave you a lot, so at least give me the proper farewell. And I'm telling you, it's a psychic, it's more powerful than the Catholic saying burying the statue of St. Joseph upside down in your yard and it'll sell really quick. I had all kinds. So you got to do it.
Oh, hell.
You got to do it.
We just did that. We buried. Wow, you just saying that. We buried that about 3 weeks ago, and I said the prayer for 9 days straight. You just, oh my God, that's awesome.
The novena.
Awesome.
You did the novena. Okay, so take a pause. Right now, Spirit just gave you confirmation in the words. I'm not trying to get applause for Mary the Mystic, okay? I'm telling you, I didn't know you were going to call. Joe didn't know you were going to call. And first you called in, and thank you, by the way, from my heart and my soul, that you validated a prediction, because Joe and I like it when you guys call back in and something helped your life in whatever way. We love that as much as giving the reading. Oh, my God, yes. So glad it helped. But now that you're getting the validation from your guides, by the way, telling me to say these words tonight, by the way, that you buried the statue, you did the novena, you were sincere in your prayers, so now you take a breath when you hang up from Joe and I, and you simply say, at this new moon, when we plant and ignite seeds of change that we choose, not that we fear, we don't want to plant the fear seeds, and say, the chaos is over, and feel from your heart thanking that house for all the good times that you had in it, and now do that final step of calling the perfect people at the perfect price. Now come in. It's purchased. It's closed. And I'm happy that chapter of my life was successful also. We like successful goodbyes, not just successful hellos. Right?
Yes, ma'am. Okay. Well, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Wonderful.
So
wonderful. I do thank you very much.
You're 3/4 of the way there, Russell. Just put a bow on it.
Get her done, brother. Thanks for the phone call. Thanks for the call. All right, man. So that's good. I know the housing prices are definitely going up too. So it's getting competitive out there, but for sure.
Well, again, Scorpio's like, what's going to die? What do we have to close the door on and say goodbye to? And, when people have a death ritual, whether they do cremation, a funeral, a graveside burial, or just a memorial, whether it's the honor guard or whatever, it's still a goodbye. It's still a reverence and pausing to say, wow, it's never going to be that way again. He's never going to live in that house that way again. So it's a goodbye. So it needs its proper thank yous.
All right, well, line 2 is open, y'all. 1-800-588-0335, 828 area code. You're on the air with Mary Dusina. Who is speaking with?
Hi, this is Lisa.
Hi, Lisa.
Well, good evening on the Scorpio new moon. I'm good. I'm good. I'm all charged up with all this Scorpio stuff. All charged up. So do you have a question, or do you want me just to pick?
Just pick something.
Okay. So you just want to check what the oracle or what the mysterious energies of Scorpio have to say to you. It's a whole different ball game when we're working with metaphysical or intuitive mediumship when we've got Scorpio going, because it has a lot to do with our ancestors, our lineage, those that we are beloveds that have actually died and are doing the dance in the Summerland in the spiritual realm. So let me fan these out. Okay, what I got for you is the King of Hearts, a.k.a. the King of Cups, and it has a lot to do with a man seeking to try to both understand and master his emotional high tides. It seems like there's, sometimes the sea looks very glassy. You can see all the way down to the bottom in coral reefs in certain parts of the world, and then there's other times that the sand is all stirred up, and there's rip currents, and there's like, you can tell the storm might not hit the Gulf right where you're living there, but you can tell that there's a storm at sea. So what I'm hearing from my guides is any storms that have been at SEE, any storms that you had to look in on or look at or come at with a different perspective to look and see and know, there's the signs and wonders. Sometimes there's the shock and the awe. Now that's spelled for most people in Old English, AWE, but here in the South, we make that crow noise. When something surprises us, we go, aw. Just like that. We kind of, aw. No kidding. Really? Aw. Like, yeah, like if you say, I heard it's going to snow, aw. They'll start doing the crow noise. So, yeah, aw. Reckon? Aw. So, or that ain't right. But anyway, so with the King of Cups or the King of Hearts, it's telling you that for some reason, somewhere around you, it could be a son, it could be a relative, it could be someone that you are invested in emotionally and intimately, because we are in the season of Scorpio, and it's the spicy parts of how we connect and how we feel sensually energized too. That's a big aspect of Scorpio, how our sensuality meter is doing. And sometimes we escape in sexuality or sensuality. So the King of Cups, he's upright, and he's holding the golden chalice out to you. So, and there's a dolphin, porpoise, whatever, in the background with a clipper ship, and the scene is very pleasant. In this particular deck that I'm working with, the Hanson Roberts tarot deck, the waters are calm. It's like a nice day at sea. So I feel like something that might have been a deep sea storm, or something that might have been hard to look at, hard to look into, hard to see about yourself and maybe how you're projecting onto others, or another is projecting how they see it or putting their high tides onto you. I feel like that there's something that seems to come to a more of an understanding, and you come into a harbor of being able to have that conversation, respect each other's viewpoints. But the key to unlock all this seems to be to find out what is it that each of you might be holding on to, like what's really gripping that son of yours, or what's really gripping that lover of yours. It's just like, why do you have such a tight grip on this? It goes deeper than what you think. What's the hold it's got on you? Not why are we holding on. If I'm holding on to something tightly, then it's given me something that I don't want to let go of. So when it seems like somebody can't move on, I'll turn around to clients and say, oh, can you define the hold that it has on you? Where do you feel like you're in a holding pattern with that job, that child, that parent, that relationship, that issue? Why are you holding on to it? It's keeping you in some kind of a stagnation or a limbo. We bitch and we complain, and yet it's like that old song, hold on. It's just like, what are you holding on for? At least examine what you're getting out of it, why it's still, it's Taurus, worth and value, debit or credit. What credit are we giving something that we're holding on tightly to? What is it we expect it to give us as a credit in our life, or as something of value? It's like, I really want this, so I'm going to hold on. I'm going to invest in this. And I don't want it to be a debit. I don't want it to just always be a debt emotionally. I don't want to emotionally or psychologically or financially, male or female, be in debt to this relationship or be in debt to this job. I want to follow through on my commitment with my integrity. So, you got to find out what your deal breaker is. With me, if I'm involved in any job, any kind of work, any kind of relationship, and my integrity, my intuition goes, it does the dolphin. It's like, that's going on the border of your integrity and your soul's purpose. It's like, bye now. Because I bow to no mortal. Yeah. I vow to no mortal. I already made my commitment back in my 20s to great spirit and great mystery. So this is that cycle in just the year of 2021. This is that cycle. We're not going to have Scorpio bow up on us real quick until we get into the eclipses of May, because then we'll have the sun in Taurus, and then we'll have the moon, the full moon in Scorpio. So we've started a 6-month bridge right here. So what we need to examine, purging, first within ourselves, always take it back to yourself. Where am I attached? Where am I compulsive? Where am I OCD? Where am I obsessing about this? I need to get a hold of my monkey mind and my mind chatter and let my soul become the captain of all this. You know, sometimes, Lisa, things just take time. Even though time in and of itself is BS, it's an illusion, sometimes our soul's progress requires us to be with someone or something for both a reason and a season. And then other times, when the season is up, she gone. You know, so you're right now trying to ascertain. You're right now trying to ascertain: is the reason still an investment? Is the reason, is the purpose, is the reason still a credit in my life, or am I creating a debit with this situation because it's going against what my intuition tells me is reasonable? So reasonable means an investment of our reasoning.
Right.
You understand?
I absolutely do. I absolutely do. It's crazy.
Okay, so did that stir up the mysteries deep within your soul for Lisa to be able to look at Lisa and say, what's your investment? Why is your investment? What are you expecting? And what are you projecting? And what are you holding on to? And if you can get some really concise answers to that, then the mind chatter stops. Because if you get the answers to that and just say, I don't know what it is, but I'm feeling like I'm going to finish out the year with this, and then I'll make my decision before March. That's cool. But when something's draining, when you've got the wrong kind of, if you've got a deleterious spirit, or the wrong kind of spirit is involved in our job, our relationship, or whatever, things around you keep collapsing, or things around you keep, even if it's not of your own effort, consciously or subconsciously, it keeps going at cross purposes. So I would look at the balance of that, or the disharmony of that.
All righty.
Yeah, I'm definitely all energy at this moment.
All right, thanks.
A lot of intuition. So, anyway, thank you.
Thanks for your call, Lisa.
Trust your gut. Trust your gut.
Trust your gut. That's a good Scorpio thing too, right? Trust your gut, trust your intuition.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, think about this. In all of our charts, Joe, our most psychic houses are those water houses. So forget about planets for a minute. In our 12-round house and the divisions of our own charts, in our natal portraits, I like to call it the Earth birth map, Earth birth chart, the houses that we have forget the planets for a minute, just the signs, where we have the sign of Cancer and the sign of Scorpio and the sign of Pisces in our own nativities and our own star charts is where we're going to have the most compassion. It's going to be the areas of depth and wonder and mystery in our life. The house of Scorpio is going to be where we're just fascinated, and we're like the spider in the web. You know, we got to go out there and see what we'll catch, and we got to go out there and see what catches us. You know, it's magic and it's mystery and it's the dark and the light. Where we have Cancer the crab is where we're seeking emotional security. Can I trust this? Can I trust them? Is this for real? Is this going to be with me for a while? Can I nurture them? Will they nurture me? That's the Cancerian thing. You know, are they safe to bring home?
Right.
Would this be the person I'd bring home to meet my kid or my parents?
Right, I got you.
Or nowadays, my exes.
Yeah, right. 765 area code. You're on the air with Mary Dusina. Who are you speaking with?
Hi, it's Sandra. Hi, Joe. Hi, good Sister Mary.
Hey, Sandra. Have you called in here before? I don't think I've ever heard you before. Have I? Sandra.
No.
You have.
No,
I love your energy.
Not. Thank you. I love you guys too.
Yep, first time caller.
Uh-huh.
Thank you. You know, Art Bell always recognized that. First-time caller, so you have to be recognized. Bravo, bravo, bravo. Thank you for your...
I remember that.
Well,
I remember that. Yes, I do.
Do you have a question from Mary? Do you want her to pull? She's going to pull cards anyway. So do you got a specific question for her?
Well, a question probably would be best here, dear. I have been widowed about a year now, and I've been with someone, been married for 35 years. We are extremely close. We're both spiritualists and telepathic, even though he's gone. He's still here.
Of course.
And my question is, I'm just starting to be social with some gentlemen that I've been friends with, or we were friends with for 20 years or 30 years or 40 years. It's people that are,
nice.
You know, they've been in our lives for a long time, and I'm seeing them socially now. And I was wondering if you see anything romantically in the future, because I enjoy being married. I don't particularly like being alone.
Oh, I love your honesty. I wish more people would speak that the way you do.
Yep.
Really.
I like the way, you know what she's done? She's prioritized that. She knows what's valuable to her. And that's the theme of Scorpio and Taurus right now. She knows that she feels more alive and feels more value in her life walk and her soul purpose when she's in working in harmony with the yin yang and a partner.
Yeah.
So she knows that her best self comes out in that type of scenario. Other people do really well as lone rangers. They do really well. But see, she's not interested in the variety. She's in there socially right now, but she's interested in,
good for you.
I'd really like to just, and my first psychic instinct with you, Sandra, is that your beloved, your telepathic beloved that's walking alongside you with the footprint in both worlds is helping you decide. He's helping pick, because he wants you to be happy and he wants you to enjoy the earthly delights. And he's going to help. It's like you're on the dating game, and he's going to help select which one you're supposed to be with. I mean, I really think you're going to get like huge validation on this. But to give you a short answer, the answer is yes. There will be that camaraderie, that marriage, however the two of you want to define it, because the card that came up for you is the Two of Cups. That's the Two of Hearts. That's the Lion with wings.
Wow.
So there's Leo and the wings of Aquarius. And different than the Lover's card, Sandra, and the Tarot, the Two of Cups is a higher octave of the station and the magnificence and majesty of love and how it blooms each time that it enters into our life. Because in the Lovers, the couple is unclothed, and there's the angel above them. Raphael is above them, coming to bless the meeting and the union. In the Two of Cups, it's the Lion with the medical caduceus above the third eye going up into the crown chakra, and the cross of light is with the third eye kiss, the forehead, the eye that truly sees, as you know, and also the stream of consciousness and the rainbow bridge and the light is going from third eye to heart chakra right up into that healing, medicinal caduceus, and then the Lion with wings. So the Lion, Leo, rules the heart and the spine. So this is like the Kundalini fire, and I believe the wings are the angelic presence of both your guardian angel and your beloved. Yeah.
Well, that's fascinating, because he was a Leo and I am Aquarius, and his nickname for me was Rainbow. So it's all there, man.
Wow. Well, you never.
There.
You're dealing with the mountain mystic Mary here. That stuff just comes right out.
Yes.
You know.
Indeed.
He loves you, and I want to tell you one final thing for this show. Anyway, he is so proud of you that you kept that chime of all that you cherish in the sound of your voice. You've got like a dancing voice, like you've got what I call a voice that smiles. You know, that your voice has a smile. Some people have dimples, some people, but your earth partner is looking down. He's got the grin, and you've got the melodic chiming, like your laughter, and like you have laughter in your words and your voice. And for you to be only widowed a year, I salute you. You all had a good relationship for you to be able to be parted in the earthly and still dynamic enough for him to help guide you to go on. That's called success of a soul.
Yeah, buddy.
Well, he was so precious, and it was love at first sight for both of us. And Yeah, and there's one gentleman that I see. In fact, it's his cousin, and he does not. I get the vibrations that he does not approve when we've been together out to dinner or whatever. Because the other day we went out and had a good time at dinner and so forth, and my husband, or she would say my beloved, was kind of pouting. He didn't communicate with me for 2 days, and it's like, whoops. So I'm trying to work all this out, but but he's the one I'm drawn to.
I know you don't want to hurt that guy's feelings. I never want to ever hurt anybody's feelings that's also on a path to look for love, but you have to kind of keep a little journal and write down, that's interesting. It wasn't me that felt the block or any repulsion from the guy, his cousin or whatever, but I did get a distinct impression that my beloved isn't choosing him right now. So we're not limiting it for the future, and we're not erasing it. But you got to take notice of the fact, if your intuition and your intuitive antenna, like you had a good time. And listen, my dad he's a double Sagittarius. My dad, I said, oh, no, Dad, I don't know why you had that feeling. He's such a nice guy. And he goes, everybody's nice in the beginning.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, and that used to just get my goat. You know, I'm like, because I couldn't really argue with that. And Dad said, let enough time be under your footsteps, and you'll realize whether it ends up a plus or a minus, everybody's nice in the beginning.
That's right.
So wake up and stay awake. Yep.
Thanks.
See, Joe got it right away. Another fire sign. Yep.
Thanks for your call, Sandra.
Thank
Good luck
you,
with
Sandra.
that.
Call us back. Let us know.
Love you guys. Take care.
Right,
Will do. Thank you. Bye-bye.
She's got
right.
I love her
love.
energy. I like it.
I do too. We'll take the love. We'll take the love. We'll deposit that in our soul bank account without draining Sandra. And Russell was very grateful too. So da-ching, cha-ching. There's some nice karmic coins for a job well done for our sincerity and Joe providing this platform. So see, those are good karmic currency coins going into our spiritual bank account.
Yes. 727 area code. You're on the air. Who are we speaking with? 727 going once, going twice. You're out of there. Oh, man.
That's Florida again.
208 area code. You're on the air. Who are we speaking with? Oh, shoot. Hold on. Let me get you up. 208. Who are we speaking with?
Abby.
I hear wind.
Yeah.
There's lots of wind around Abby.
Yeah, you got some
there
air
in Idaho.
There, girl. You've got breezes. You've got winds of change and breezes of kisses coming in around you, Abby. So tell me, what's the category that you're wanting to have some insight on?
I just do general, I guess. Just pull a card for me.
Okay.
Let it go up.
Smart girl. Yep. Let the fates decide. You got all kinds of noises around you. She got a lot of stuff going. Okay. You got the Wheel of Fortune. So now I understand why everything's spinning around you. So the Wheel of Fortune is the wheel of changes, how fortune is going to be changing. Now, what's interesting about the Wheel of Fortune is it has a lot to do with the fixed signs. It has the Leo. It has Leo the lion. It has the oxen bull of Taurus. It has Aquarius, the winged angel man. And then it has, in this card, the eagle of Scorpio. So the scorpion, like in Ezekiel's vision, it was the eagle. You have those angels that have the lion's head, the angel's head, the oxen head, and the eagle. So, and then we have a lot of Egyptian symbology here. We have Anubis, and we have the Sphinx. And the wheel of fate and fortune is actually beginning to rotate up in the vision. So when the wheel is rotating to the right, in your dreams and in your meditations and in your vision, it has a lot to do with the immediate future. If the wheel seems to be orbiting and rotating to the left, then there's something you're still clearing up that has some past residue. So with you, I'm saying that there's something of the left. So what is it that you feel like you haven't quite left? There's like residual. There's like a holding on. There's like I need to process something, or why did that happen that way? Why did that turn out that way? There's something that you're using as a reference point. Do you understand that?
Maybe. There's a lot of things that I ponder. Could be a couple things. I'll probably realize what it is later because that's what I do.
Well, look at it this way. Let me give you a little visual. it's hard to go all the way to walk into another door. It's hard to walk into a door of intrigue and interest and allure and fascination if we're propping the door behind us of that relationship or that job or that big thing we just went through. If we're still propping that door open in the past with our heel of our other foot, you can't go forward. You're either going forwards or backwards, or you're in a standstill. And that's another way for me to say it to you. Kind of look at what's got you in limbo or in a standstill, or you feel like maybe you already have a knowing that something is stagnant in your personal life, but you don't know quite what method to employ to kind of get yourself unstuck. Does that make sense? Like you're trying to at least move forward or stay content. Yeah. But it's like there's a little bit of a limbo. Now, nobody stays in limbo forever. You know, if we don't make the decision, trust me, the great baseball bat of spirit comes along and said, I said, move on the chessboard now, so, it'll like whack, and then, either we move forward with our intuition, and because God gives us authority to choose, and God retains the power. The Almighty has the power, but we're granted choice. So I guess what I'm seeing in front of you is that very soon, by December, there's some choices of you can't stay at the crossroads or the stop sign forever. You got to choose, I'm going left, right, or forward. Or maybe I'll go back to what I had. But there's some kind of crossroads I see you coming to, and it's got to be like, I'm going to not say the cuss word, but it's got to be like it's time to either or get off the pot, which fits Scorpio.
All right. There you go, Abby. All right, rapid fire here because we're getting down to the wire. Let's see, 845 area code. You're on the air with Mary Dusina. Who are we speaking with?
Hey, Joe, this is Tom. I'm up here in New York, and I really appreciate what you guys do. And some unusual changes around here. I just lost a coworker, but
sorry about that.
It's been unusual. Yeah, I appreciate it, man. But I've been noticing these changes, and anyway, but I do want to see if I could do something unusual and different. Maybe pull a card for you guys, because I feel like you guys bring a lot of love and light to a lot of people.
Oh, you want her to pull a card for us?
Yeah.
No, he wants to put.
I feel like there's some really good things on the horizon for you guys. For what you do for everybody, and I don't know. I just feel like I don't know if that's like a common thing to do or.
No, it's very intriguing. So you're wanting me to pull a card for an energy message for Joe and or you're going to pull a card? Which way? I want to make sure I understand you.
Yeah, I'd like to have a card pulled for both of you, because I feel like there's just something that it's really good, like on the horizon for you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. How kind of you. How kind of you. Duly noted. Okay, so two fell out actually. One of them is called the Four of Swords, and the Swords has the element of air, the etheric communication, the airwaves. It has a lot to do with divine source messages, wanting to say something specifically or to add benefit to our direction. So you're on target with that. And the second card that fell out was the Magician, the Manifester. So it has a lot to do with as above, so below. And I always say with the Magician, be very aware. You have the power of the force that just showed itself. You have the power of the force for the next 24 hours. Be careful of what you ask for. You'll get it. So there's a responsibility with what we're calling. So I never, ever look at the Magician as a lightweight card. It's a card that calls you front and center of light. Be sure what you think you want is what you want, because it's on the table. It's on the table. So that's provocative, and it makes me have to dive into the mysteries of certainly my own self. I know Joe will do that too, but it's intriguing that your intuition had, urged you to call us for that dynamic to happen. I'll have done this 4 years in the summer of 2022 with Joe, and it's interesting that you're the first one that's ever called and said, I don't know, I kind of got a vibe that it's your turn to get a card with the message for you guys, but you also said with it the affirmation of, I feel really good things on the horizon. So I will accept that.
Yeah,
I will value
Tom.
that.
That's cool, man. Thank you.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely. You guys do a lot of good things for a lot of people, and I hope you guys recognize that, because I know a lot of times, appreciation comes in different shapes and forms at different times. Sometimes you might, get intuition about it, but I don't know. It's always a good thing to hear a thank you, and I guess just want to say thank you for what you guys do.
You're very welcome, and thank you for listening. And thanks for
that holds high value to me. Appreciation and gratitude. That holds high value for me. And you know what goes around comes around. I know you didn't do it for that reason, but all the good that's coming into me and Joe just also deposited into your spiritual bank account. Bravo for you.
Big shout out to Tom in New York. Love that. Thanks.
Wow.
Man. That's good stuff there.
That's a first for me, Joe.
Yeah, that's never happened in 2 years, right? Now let's see.
No, it's not. It's not 2 years. It's going to be 4 years next summer.
Damn.
Yeah, we're.
Listen, you know how I am with time. I mean,
it's true. We'll call it because time's an illusion.
Let's see, a 502 area code. You're on the air. This probably should be the last one. 502.
Hi. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
Yes.
Okay, this is Sarah from Louisville, Kentucky. I've had just a bad week. Just pull me a card.
All right.
Career issues. Like that.
Okay. A storm has passed, as I'm picking a card. A storm has passed, Spirit says. And I got the Queen of Swords flipped over, but the High Priestess flew out. So the High Priestess, just to me, not that I know and see it all, but the High Priestess to me is some really ancient good karma and some Piscean energy that's like the water element and the baptism element of the baptism by water, the cleansing, the purging and just letting it all go. That might be tears. That might be you laugh so hard you almost pee your pants. But there's something about the pressure, that like the pressure cooker, it's like turned off now. Whatever cooked. And I feel like that the wonders of why the change was so intense. I mean, I can't believe this is happening. I can't believe I'm going to go through this. I can't believe that this, because I really do feel this time frame up to this next full moon eclipse is signs and wonders, shock and awe. And I don't know if you heard the first hour, but I was talking about somehow letting go or death, the death of something, the transformation of something. Something's got to give is the main theme between November 4th and November 19th. Have you gone through that?
Yeah, I'm a nurse practitioner and sort of don't have a place right now. Everybody that's hiring wants you to be jabbed,
Oh yeah.
So I'm just going to take a hiatus.
You have skills to help people heal. Look to an osteopathic office. Look to a bigger health food store or an herbal company, because like the people of Gaia Herbs or the people that make Solgar or the people that make now, they want, Dr. Mercola and Karen Becker, like look into the veterinarian thing, you're still a person that knows vital things about the body. And it may be that you'll go into something holistic, and because you already have that nursing acumen and that skills, I feel like that it's only going to get you a better launch and better pay because of what you've already got on your tool belt, girl. And that's very Pisces, by the way. The whole serve or suffer thing that's going on now with, I love nurses. I mean, you got to put up with surgeons and patients, and
it's a big thing with me.
Yeah.
You're going to continue. You're going to continue. Yeah, it feels good. You're going to continue in the realm of healing. You've just not found the right welcome mat to walk into yet, because it's and I hate to say this, but a piece of it might be, and this is where as humans we get up on our hind legs, a piece of it might be that perfect job might not be just in that city that you live in, and you're resisting having to make a move or pack up anything. But I feel like that the wonder is there. You just need to consider, perhaps, is it the place that you need to let go of and that needs to die, or the space?
Guys,
but you're going to be okay.
You're going to be okay. Thanks for your call, Mary. Trust me, if Mary says you're going to be okay, you're going to be okay.
You're going to be okay.
For those of you that have been waiting, I got to drop you. The show's over. We're already over the hour. I'm sorry. Yep. However, if you go to marydusina.com, you'll get a more enhanced and thorough reading anyways. So do that. All right?
And you'll be blessing your mountain mystic, too.
All you callers, thank you. So last comment, because we should be done already, but I still want you to finalize this, Mary.
Trust in how you plug into, and Neptune is in Pisces, and that's our antenna, that's our trident to be able to plug into. How you dance with chance is to trust your higher forces and the divine source. So get out of your heads, go into your hearts, believe in love, and trust that course, and don't take anything less.
There you go, guys. Make sure you go to her website, marydusina.com, MARYDUSINA. Get a reading. We'll see you next new moon. Thanks, Mary.
Thank you, Joe. Appreciate you.